So, a very good morning to all, and welcome to this third day of this FGP program. And we have been talking about the outcome based education, its framework, and the main components, which are like POs, COs, POs, and mission and vision statements. So, yesterday we talked about this, and in the evening session, you had a great session with Professor P.K. Singla talking about the course outcomes and the various cognitive or knowledge or psychometer and affective domains. So, today, the next step which has to be followed for the implementation of OBE, or I would say for the first step before the curriculum design, also, or just at the curriculum design, the next step is how to correlate all these components of the OBE. So that is which we call it as articulation mapping. So we'll talk about the mapping of the various learning outcomes. So my overview of this presentation will cover the CO, POs, PSOs and PSOs, although we have discussed it in yesterday's session, but just to brush up, I'll just give the overview of this and what is the importance of these outcomes and how do we prepare the mapping, articulation mapping, and then we'll talk about the attainment of the outcomes also in this session. So the various level of outcomes which are main constituents of OB, which we have been talking about and which you are dealing, that is the program educational objectives, program outcomes, which are 12. Program educational objectives can be uh, 2 to 4 or 4 to 6 maybe. 4 to 6 POs can be framed for every program. Program outcomes are same as the graduate attributes, especially for the streams or disciplines which are governed by AICT. For other disciplines, we need to frame the program outcomes. They are not fixed by UGC. And then there are certain program specific outcomes where if the outcomes which are we are not able to cover in the program outcomes, then you have that liberty to frame 2 to 4 program specific outcomes for the which may for the that particular domain or stream. But again, uh, it should be just between the limit of 2 to 4. Okay. And then lastly, the course outcomes, which every faculty has to take care, that is the outcomes at the end of the course. So maybe all of you may not be directly involved in framing the POs or PSOs, because for that the particular committee has to be constituted, in which representatives of all the stakeholders are there. So maybe the faculty, each and every faculty is not directly involved, but the course outcome, each and every faculty is directly involved, directly responsible, and directly answerable also. So it is very important to understand the importance of course outcomes and the techniques or the methods to frame the course outcomes and their further mapping and the attainment. Because when we'll talk about the attainment of these three depend directly and indirectly over the attainment of course outcomes. So mainly the important aspect is the attainment of the course outcome. Okay, so we'll talk about this. So because now this is why it is necessary, I was talking about this last in my last session also, that what is the importance of planning this outcomes, the learning outcomes at every level at the very beginning. So when if it is shared, so it means the students also know that what is the expectations from these students. The teachers also know that what students are expecting from our teaching. So students are, when we'll see how to map and how to uh, this attain in the process of assessment, that it will help the students to track their progress also. that where I am lacking, where I have, in which direction I have to move, what trajectory I have to follow to have a good result or good CGPA whatsoever. So this type of outcomes at every level helps or provides a win-win situation to all. Even if they're students, they know how to move on, or what is where they are lacking, or what are their positive points, how they can strengthen their capabilities. At the same time, the teachers or the faculty members also can very well take into account that what is the progress of their teaching or the students' progress also, how to assess, how to what instructional strategy has to be employed, right? So we'll talk about this. So this is putting all these learning outcomes up. So that is why you see when you go for NBA NAC, it is always a mandate that these POs or POs, they should be disseminated very, very effectively. They should be on their website, or any institute's website. Should the POs or the vision, mission, and PO should be disseminated in the labs. It should be there in the classrooms or in the corridor, at least in the some boardroom or HOD's room. Obviously, it should be there in the director office. So proper dissemination should be there so that everyone could see and everyone could by and by realize that okay, these are the program outcomes for which I am here, or these are the program outcomes for which I have to make my students learn, right? So I hope that you people must also be disseminating this, whether in the your this brochure, admission brochure also now it is mandatory, your website also it is mandatory, right? So you must be doing that. Okay, so we were talking about, quickly as I said, I'll give a brief introduction to POs, and that not what POs is basically, what things you have to take care, or what aspects you have to take care and follow for the formulation of POs and attainment of POs. Okay, so as I said, a proper committee has to be framed, and the feedback from the various stakeholders and the involvement of the various stakeholders has to be taken care of, and POs must be, in consonance with the vision and mission of the department as well as the institute. So if you see what is the vision and mission of the department, what is the institute vision mission, the involvement of all the external as well as the internal stakeholder, then a committee is formed, program assessment committee, which will again, but this is not I'm not saying this is the exact uh, framework for defining, but this is the expected framework for defining or designing the POs. So board of studies should be involved, department advisory board, if there it is, it should be involved. It should be then passed to the academic council and approved. If it is approved, then it should be properly disseminated, right? So the minutes of meeting of this PAC should be there. And if you are reviewing, as yesterday also, some of the members were, they had this query whether they could be reviewed or not. If you are reviewing, as I said, proper justification and the proper, the documents behind it, that why revision and then what type of revision, and then you have to show when you have reviewed, then how the situation has improved. Okay, so this is how we go for the POs. Proper process has to be followed. For brainstorming has to be done, views, minutes of meeting and consensus, and then you move on. Okay, so this is one example of PO of aeronautical engineering, that first our students or our graduates will move out as innovative engineers. They will be successful in the solving problem with life cycle of aircraft systems especially, right? Then your soft skill kinds, that they are able to participate in professional organization, seeking higher education, and they are active members to serve the society locally and internationally. Okay, so this is one example which I wanted to show you that. So these are the expectations after they have completed their degree and 3 years or beyond. Even if he has gone for higher studies, then how he is ready for his professional job. If his job is looking for higher studies, how he is committed to and contributing to the society. Okay, how his technical knowledge attained is helping in his professional life cycle. So this is one example, and with, like this you can frame. So next is program outcomes, which I already have discussed, that they are now fixed and as the graduate attributes, but the main thing or the main points which the program outcomes address is knowledge, skill, and attitude, which already I think in the yesterday's session it has been covered uh, prominently. So these POs are fixed, as I mentioned, for the specific programs which are governed by AICT. For the programs like for the now, but now because NBA or the or like NEP is coming up with the HECI, Higher Education Council of India, and in which the accreditation will be compulsory for all the programs, not only technical programs, but the non-technical programs will also have to be accredited. So when it they will be accredited, then the same process will be followed. That is the COs, POs, and POs and their mapping and their attainment. So for them, the POs have to be framed by the institute or themselves till the UGC comes up. Like for management, lately this year only UGC has come up with 6 POs, especially for management. And for pharmacy, now it has come out of the ambit of AICT, so their POs are also different. But still, the POs for like humanities or like psychology, sociology, or other non-technical streams, still the POs have to be framed. So I just want to give a brief idea about the framing of the POs also. Yeah, Mahesh Chandra. Yes, sir.
There is a question, ma'am, actually a query
Yes,
regarding program specific outcome.
yes, sir. I will
If
come to it,
the
sir. Sir, can I move in sequence? Like after
please,
POs, I'll come to
please,
PSOs. Then
please,
I'll take your.
please, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Madam, according to that Washington Accord PO, 12 POs are fixed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They are
Then
fixed.
you are saying that you are framing POs.
No, 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 sir. That's what I'm saying. That for the programs which are governed by an AICT and NBA, because we are the signatory bodies of Washington Accord. So for those programs, the program outcomes are fixed, which are 12, which are same as the graduate attributes, which are in front of you. That is, first it is engineering knowledge, that how the fundamentals are being used, knowledge is given, problem analysis, design development, investigation of complex modern tool usage, engineer and society, environment, ethics, individual teamwork, communication, project and life. So they are fixed. I am talking about like you have BA in history honors, or some of the uh, 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 participants might be from humanities. Is there anyone from humanities? Then only I'll cover this. Otherwise, if all are from technical background, then I won't go for it. Because like if you are going for social sciences, or there are so many programs which were right now till date, they were not going for the department accreditation. They were going only for NAC, for the institute accreditation, or the NIRF ranking and all. So but now the accreditation for each and every domain or department has to be done. For them, I said that POs are not framed. So if you people want to frame POs, then I wanted to give you, like as I said, I visited SRM. and there the Department of Psychology, Department of Humanities, their POs were not framed. For them, I wanted to give you just an idea about how to frame the POs, because earlier, before the uh, 12 POs were finalized, before that also the POs were framed by every institute itself. Okay, am I clear, Dr. Ravi?
Yes, madam. SRM is SRM Chennai.
No, we went to SRM Andhra Pradesh, Amravati.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So I just, because I thought that we have a mixed group and all are not from technical background, so I just wanted to give just a brief idea. But if there are not from a non-technical, it's okay. But just to bring a clarity, we to define POs, we only talk about two things: identifying the competencies that are to be obtained, and to obtain that competency, what should be the performance indicators. Okay, so okay, then I won't go into the detail of this.
Madam, excuse me, madam.
Yes, sir.
Madam, how to map PEOs, program educational objectives with the mission of the department?
I'm coming to it, sir.
Okay,
Just give
okay,
me 5 minutes. I wanted to brush up the things, and then I'll come directly to the mapping and all. Okay.
okay, madam. Thank you, madam. Thank you.
So these are the program outcomes which we all have to understand in this. Now coming to PSOs, which Dr. Mahesh Chandra was talking about. So as I said, because these 12 are fixed, but now it has been noticed with the coming up of some new branches also, or now some new programs also, these POs are not able to justify the competencies which are expected from the student in some programs. So that is, we expect, like if you take an example, as I said, say in the robotics, BTech in robotics or BTech in 3D printing. So there it may happen that these POs are not sufficient. So for that reason, the AIC, the governing bodies have given this flexibility that you can frame program specific outcomes. That is, which are again are statements which will define that what the student should be able to do at the end of the, or at the completion of its program. Okay, which may not be covered by POs. So you can frame 2 to 4 PSOs. So they are the again same statements which describe what the graduate of specific engineering program should be able to do. Okay, and there again the guidelines, they are also to be mapped with CO as we map with the POs. They're also be attained as we do the attainment of COs and POs. Okay, so this is like one example, because now if you see in civil engineering especially, the generic POs are there, that knowledge, engineering knowledge, complex problem solving, investigating or analysis part is there. Now, but a civil engineer is expected to be able to analyze and design building structural system, to give the design solution of specifically water supply and sewage, specifically transportation engineering problem. So these are not being covered in the POs, so they are written as the PSOs. Am I clear? Now, Mr. Mahesh Chandra, your question, please.
Yeah, ma'am. Actually, the PSO, it is the specific to particularly domain.
Yes,
है
sir.
ना?
Yes,
Yeah, and the things which cannot be covered in 12 POs,
yes, sir.
we have to specify in that particular PSO as per our program.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
But, if we write the PSO more generic, like the students will be able to get employment, the students,
No.
the students will be able to involve themselves in research activities.
They are, sir, they are, if this type of programs are, POs are already covered in some way or other in the program outcomes. And
Yeah,
that cannot be specific to the domain that they will get the job. That is obvious. That is, your all the POs are basically meant for the graduates, the attributes which shown by the graduates to grow professionally, technically, and socially. So you cannot write that generic PSOs. PSOs means specific to that domain which are not covered in the POs.
Okay, ma'am. Actually, if it should be it also should map with
Yes.
program educational objectives
Yes,
PSO.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We
Ideally, it
should
should
map
be.
it.
Yeah, but
Okay.
nowadays NB has stopped the attainment of POs, so mapping should be done, but they are not paying much attention over the attainment of POs. But mapping should be done. Whatever you are doing with the POs, all is to be done with the PSOs.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other
Thank you.
question?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So again, the framing the PSOs also has to be a proper process with the stakeholders involvement and with the advisory board, board of studies, proper, the procedure has to be formulated and uh, performed to finalize the PSOs. And then lastly are the course outcome. I won't talk about much because already a whole session has been covered. So but the course outcome have to be smart, they have to be specific, they cannot be broad like POs, and POs are broad statement. They have to be very specific, particular to that subject, that uh, the what topic you are teaching. They have to be measurable, because at the end of the day we have to, when we do the attainment, we have to quantify them and we have to measure it. So for quantification and for checking the attainment, the CO should be measurable, they should be attainable. Obviously, if you say in first year, the student is coming as your first semester student, and you say the student should be able to, and you're teaching him C programming, and you say that okay, the student should be able to write a pointer or some program higher ended C++. So it is not possible. Okay, so it should be attainable, looking at what is the level of the student, what is the Bloom's taxonomy, and in which year the or semester the student is this subject is being floated. Okay, so it should be attainable, it should be result focused, and it should be tailored. Some way it called tailored, some way they call time specific, time bound, because we know that we have one semester, we have if 3 lectures, we have 45 lectures in a week, and we have to cover this much syllabus in that particular week. So that outcome is expected from the student in a time specific. So it should be tailored or time specific, right? Now, okay, as I said, yeah, now we'll come to the articulation mapping. So, whatever we are talking about, they are all interrelated to each other. None of these learning outcomes are stand-alone entities. If the mission is known, and before that vision, the mission is known, to achieve that mission, the POs are framed. To achieve these POs are framed or PSOs are framed. To achieve these POs, the COs are framed. So they are all interrelated to each other. And when we talk about the attainment, whether what we have planned, whether we have attained or not, so CO attainment will somewhat affect the POs. The POs attainment will again affect the POs, and POs attainment will affect the mission. So that is why we do the outcome mapping, so that a proper alignment of all the outcomes at every level is there. Whatever we are teaching, whatever we're doing, what infrastructure, what environment, everything has to be in a sequence, and a proper alignment should be there, a structure should be there, so that when we do for the continuous quality, when we will see that what we have attained, what we have achieved, whether it is up to the mark or not, or it is in line with the what we have planned, then we can find out the lacuna or the gap by seeing this mapping. So you can re-examine the outcomes at every level if you have a proper articulation mapping or a proper correlation uh, between all these learning outcomes, right? So vision, mission, POs, program outcomes, okay, 12 in number, and then the course outcome of whether they are from the core subjects, whether they are of electives, whether they are interdisciplinary, whether they are audit courses, whatever type of courses you are doing, curriculum, extracurriculum, seminars, internships, projects, whatever it is, it has to be mapped properly. Okay. So, and not only the mapping of COs and POs. See, uh, actually, every course file should have three type of articulation metrics. The first matrix which you all must be doing is the course articulation, that is between COs and POs. I hope everyone is doing that.
Yes, madam.
Yeah.
Yes,
And we
madam. Yes,
all,
madam. Yes,
so
madam.
all we all are doing it.
Yes,
And
madam.
yeah, another program articulation mapping should be between the POs and PSOs or PEOs and all. Okay, so that is your program articulation. The third one, which is important, I think that many of you may be doing it, but some may not. That is your
Uh-huh.
assessment method
एक
of
time
course. So the third type of articulation metrics, which usually I have seen is not being done, that is your assessment planning of with the course outcome. Can anybody give me the feedback if they're doing it? That you people
Yes,
are.
madam.
Yes, ma'am. For POs
Uh,
assignment, when we are giving, it's a map with PO but not with CO exactly. But when we are doing it for PO, default
I
it
know,
will be
Ajinta.
for CO also, ma'am. Actually, we have one of the PO for teamwork, no, ma'am. So our assignment, when we are giving, we'll be giving it as a group work, like any project or anything. So the students together they can do it. So when we are going,
directly you are mapping it to the PO without mapping it to the CO.
but anyway, when the work is given, the assignment will be directly mapping with CO also default. Uh, can I give some example,
Yeah,
ma'am? If
yeah,
it is
sure, definitely, please.
Yeah, ma'am. If it is just going to be for any project related to topic of ultrasonics, so how to produce ultrasonics waves and find the purity of any sample. So the students together they will be doing for different samples. So it's mapping for the program outcome, which is teamwork. And here, if the CO is just going to determine the purity of any sample, that is also satisfied.
Ma'am, please look into this, that the any question or any assignment or any assessment tool directly, uh, like how can you map with the PO? Obviously, if you have a teamwork or this one, then the CO and PO mapping will define that this assessment is related to that PO or not. But I doubt that direct one assessment or any assignment or any assessment tool can be directly mapped with the PO. Okay,
Pardon me?
please. Uh, Ma'am,
Pardon?
I'm saying that I'm wondering whether this is the right way, that any, right, you are saying you are giving any assignment
Yeah,
and
ma'am.
directly you are mapping it with the POs.
Hmm. Yeah, ma'am.
It should be mapped with the CO, ma'am, and then that CO is mapped with particular PO, so indirectly your assignment is related to that PO.
Okay, okay.
Directly you cannot say
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you are
It's
giving the
not through
assignment
direct.
and it is mapped to that PO. No.
It's not direct attainment, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
No, no,
agree.
no, no.
Okay.
I've just shown you this, that this articulation matrix, usually it is not done, but I would really suggest and my recommend that every faculty should put this type of mapping also in your course files. Now, if you see this, it is just a frame mapping of how you will assess the course outcomes. Now, if you see, this is course outcome 1, this is its description, and it is related to PO1. Now, already the teacher or faculty decides that to check whether I have attained this CO1 or not, how will I assess my student? That will be assessed by, say, 2 questions in mid semester. So T1 is, say, one mid semester, say T2 is end semester. A1 may be assignment, A2 may be quiz, A3 may be seminar, and say lab. So these are all the tools, or I would assessments, whatever you are following, whether quiz, assignment, seminar, whatsoever. So if this type of framework is made beforehand, that CO2 related to PO2, PO3, how would I judge it? By one assignment. CO3, PO2 and PO3, how would I find it out whether it has been attained or not? So question 1 and question 2 in the final semester and an assignment. Are you getting my point? So basically, this is also a articulation mapping of the course outline and the assessment techniques. That which assessment techniques would I prefer or would I utilize for checking the attainment of COs, right? So when I'm saying that 3 articulation mappings are to be done, so first you all are doing the COs and POs. Program articulation are also you must be doing the program POs and PSOs and POs. But this course assessment plan, this mapping, if not doing, try to do it beforehand, because if this is done properly, then while doing the attainment, it will become very, very much easier for the faculty to check whether those particular course outcomes have been attained or not. Okay, I'll show you further. So for all the articulation metrics, the thumb rule is same, that for we show the highest mapping or highest correlation as 3, and moderate correlation as 2, and low correlation as 1. Okay, so to quantify and to do the measurement at the end, we have converted this high correlation, moderate and low, through the, we have quantified them as 1, 2 and 3. Yeah, Mr. Mehboob Anwar. Yes.
Ma'am, let's say, is it possible that somehow we may not be have any correlation with the POs, as far as the program is concerned or the course is concerned, that can be only read with the PSOs?
No, not at all. Not at all. It may happen that you do not have any relation with PSOs, that your program is good enough, you do not require simple BTech in electronics, BTech in electrical. I don't think it will require any PSO, or 1 or 2 PSO if you are giving some major or some specialization.
Yes,
Right?
ma'am. Just for example, that I am from fashion design, and from fashion design department, we have all the hands-on courses, completely practical based. So far, when we relate our courses to the POs, some of the courses are very minimalistic matching with the POs, where that's why we created our PSOs, and our number of PSOs are comparatively more than the engineering courses.
No, you cannot have more than 4 PSOs, sir.
And we have 5 PSOs in our course, in our program.
Okay, if you are able to justify, but the AICT, the NBA only asks for not more than 4 PSOs.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Right. But in any of the case, we minimum 2 or 3 POs needs to be matched with the course.
Sir, at least see, the graduate attributes, first 4 are very pertinent to the engineering part or the technology part.
Right,
From 5, that is modern tool usage.
Mm-hmm.
So that modern tool usage, you must also be utilizing some tools for your fashion designing.
Yeah.
Right? Then you have ethics, you have lifelong learning, you have communication, environment. So all these are related to your fashion designing also.
Okay.
Only the challenge will be to map the first 4 ones, where you do not, because directly it is the knowledge of science and maths. Or
Okay,
there it can be a challenge, but remaining 7, you can map 8. You can map them.
Right, ma'am. Right. Got it, ma'am.
So, the first one is, as someone was asking, the first mapping which is to be done is between the mission and the POs. As I'm again and again saying, it is a top-down approach. What we have to achieve is the mission, vision statement, and then the mission. So it is very important to have the correlation between the POs and the mission statement. So even if mission are 3 or 4, so you want to find out the gist of the mission statements, so you can mention it here and you can correlate with the POs. Again, it is 3, 2 and 1, which implies, or 0, it can be 0 also, but usually the mission and the PO should not be 0. Okay, there should be some relationship, whether it is small, less relation, or whether it is more relationship. Okay. So like this is one example. So 4 mission statement: impart state of art of technical education at UG, PG, PhD levels, keep pace with latest technology, effective interaction, impart soft skills. So this is one example I've taken from a university. So these are the 4 mission statements, and these are their POs. Okay, so you can relate it, and you can form a articulation matrix that how our POs are mapping to the mission statements, right?
Madam, these are missions of the department or institution.
It should be the POs. If you're, it should be with the department of mission.
Okay, madam. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, madam.
You can have another type of also, if you're going for NAC and all, where they talk about the institute, then you can map your department mission with the institute mission also.
Okay, okay, madam. Okay, madam.
Then next articulation is your PEOs with the POs. So that alignment has also to be taken care of with all the 12 POs and the 4 POs, right? Same thing. So, but now one thing is very clear. See, earlier it was like, okay, I am the committee member, or head is there, dean is there, and some other people from industry are there. Whatever you are mapping, whatever points you are giving, 3, 2, 1, 0, whatsoever, now the NBA looks for the proper justification also. I'll show you one for the POCO. Wait. Yeah. So any type of mapping which you are doing with COPO, POPOs, mission, vision, a mapping, a justification has to be given. That if you say CO is mapped with PO1, why 1? So you can say it is slightly mapped as engineering fundamentals are required. If it is 3, because programming solutions are made for health and so for any type of, earlier it used to be, okay, I have written 3, 2, 1. Okay, I feel this, or the committee feels this, okay. But now it has to be put on the papers that why 3, why 2, and why 1. Proper justification has to be given. Okay. So these are the program articulation metrics between vision, mission, POs, and all. Last, the important one, which is the COPO mapping. Okay, so when COs are already in place, POs are already known, so a coordinator should be there for the particular program who is teaching that. If the one teacher is taking one program, then it is okay. But if number of faculty members are teaching the same program, like for the applied sciences or C programming or basic electrical, whatsoever, if number of faculty members are teaching across the departments, then a module coordinator should be there who will take care, who will do the COPO mapping with everyone. But when attainment will be done and the data collection and checking, that will be done by the module coordinator. So every subject there should be a course coordinator, and obviously the coordinator or the faculty who is teaching that subject should be made the course coordinator. Okay, so this you already are doing POs and COs, and see now this table, whatever you are making for PO12, and there are 2 PSOs, so PSOs are also there, 6 COs, so you can map them. And it may happen, it will always happen that one CO will not be able to cater all the POs, and it may happen some of the POs, but this is not the right thing. Some POs here, it should be mapped. This is not a right way to map. Okay, so some COPO mapping should be, it cannot happen that this entire PO is not mapped to any of the COs. It should not happen. Okay, at least some CO should be able to map any one of the POs. So this you have to take care. And 2 PSOs, and again the COs. So for the this is the part of the articulation. For further calculations and everything, it is better to take out the average, because when we'll go for the attainment, this average part is very helpful for the attainment purpose. So just the POs, how many POs are there and how many have been attained. Sorry, what is the average? You can put it down for the POs as well as for the PSOs. So this matrix should be the part of your course file in the very beginning. Before you start your contents, this should be there. Okay? COPO mapping and COPS mapping. And for theory as well as for the lab course. Both the courses, it is mandatory. Okay. So as I said, if this type of table is there, that okay, CO1 is mapped to 3 POs and 1 PSOs, this is the level and this is the justification that why you have correlated. Similarly, CO2, CO3 and CO4. Because when you will justify this and when you will do the, the closing the loop after getting the feedback, after getting the marks, then you can just, if you want to reframe COs, then you can justify from this statement that, okay, so this type of it is given. So actually this is the crux of the OBE implementation at the curriculum level. That is, you should have the knowledge of Bloom's taxonomy. From there, you you can frame the course outcomes. Program outcomes are already fixed. POs and PSOs are defined, and then you can go for the mapping part. Okay, then how you implement the course, how you assess the course, check the attain outcomes, and then check the program outcomes. So this entire cycle has to be followed for every program. Okay, so this is the administrative system for implementation. As I said, a course coordinator for one particular course, module where large number of faculty are involved. Then there should be a program coordinator that may be a head of the department himself also, and program assessment committee that may be the part of IQAC cell, or that may be a separate committee at the department level as well as the institute level, and then department advisory board and IQAC cell. So such type of administrative system should be in place to check whether the mapping has been done or not. Okay, so any questions till mapping?
Ma'am, that program indicators you are not mentioned. You have to explain that also.
Pardon, sir?
Program indicators. Indicators, that
Pro-
is,
program indicators.
yes,
Performance indicators, ma'am.
Yeah.
performance
So
indicators.
performance indicators, I'll talk when we. I'm not covering that because for that you need to understand then the rubrics part also. We have to design the rubrics and then how the rubrics are to be used uh, with the performance indicators. That I have not covered in that. That may be covered by, I think, Dr. Sunil, that may be covering today afternoon session. Okay.
Okay.
So, right. So, this is what again, okay. This is, now we'll talk about the, yeah. So this also will be covered like when you frame the question paper, you must be doing it along with the marks. We are now writing your course outcomes also and the Bloom's taxonomy level. I hope most of you must be doing it now. Because if now student student knows okay, this is for 10 marks, and student should have idea about what aspect is being checked by answering this question. CO6 or CO5, and that is CO6 is on the basis of application and remembering part. This is applying part, that whatever I've learned I'm able to apply or not. This is only the remember first level. So your question paper should be now containing the marks and the CO level and the Bloom's level. Okay, so this I hope that most of you must be following it, but if not, so you should start doing that. Okay, now we come to the attainment of outcomes, which is most important, because all this what we have done will be successful only if we are able to do the attainment. Okay, so for the attainment again, course outcome attainment, program outcome attainment, and POs attainment. So when are they to be assessed? Course outcomes upon the course completion, program obviously upon graduation, and POs about 4 to 5 years. So now when we say that we are going to attain them, so there should be some tools on the criteria which will form the criteria that whether we have attained these POs or not, right? So first, before coming to the COs, if I talk about the PEO attainment, then there are certain tools which are defined, like you have employer satisfaction survey. The students which are employed from your placement office take the feedback from the employer, how they are performing, what are their attributes, what qualities they are showing, how they are improving. So that type of survey you can take from the employers which have taken your students through the placement cell. Okay, some survey questions. Then you have alumni survey that can be done yearly. Placement records. Okay, so these are the certain tools. There can be many more, like we see on the LinkedIn also, how they are performing, whether that in the not even the job, but if they are gone for the higher studies, what is their record? If they become entrepreneurs, or they have started the part of some incubation centers. So all these you can find out and form some survey questions, and yearly this survey can be done to check whether the POs have been attained or not. So yearly process.
Madam, in diploma institutions, most of the students they are going for higher education, madam.
Yeah.
So how to collect the data if they go for higher? 99% they are going for higher education, madam. BTech, they are going for BTech.
When they are going for BTech, is there any like form you have to HOD or the department or the institute head has to sign?
Uh,
If they are
while
applying for the lateral entry, when
yes, madam, yes, yes.
there must be some, they must be getting some form signed, or no, some signatory person would be there, right?
Yes, yes,
So
madam.
you can keep a photocopy of that, and then you can keep the record.
Now,
Otherwise, you
how to collect the their performance at BTech level, madam?
so that is, then you have to form a good alumni network that they give you the information. That is a challenge. I agree. That is a challenge because students change their email IDs, students change their phone numbers, or they don't bother. So it is a challenge to get the information from the students. But if you have a good alumni network, or you are connected some on LinkedIn or somehow, from there you can find out the ways. But there is no set, I would say, foolproof method to get the information from the students. We all know that.
We have alumni WhatsApp group, madam.
Yeah.
Those who are completed their diploma, they will be joining in the WhatsApp group, madam, in the alumni WhatsApp group.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Then if they are joining and then they are ready to share their, you know, achievements or share their whereabouts, then only. So it is a difficult.
Generally we keep Google Forms, madam. Google Forms in the WhatsApp
That
group.
is good. That is good, sir. So that, because in WhatsApp it will be, the information will be public. So it is
Yes.
better to send a Google form individually so that they can share their information.
Madam, shall we collect the data from their principal, where
If
they
they are
are
ready,
studying
yes,
with?
yes, yes, definitely you can send, because it is a yearly affair. So you send the name of the students, that they are the lateral entries in your institute. Kindly
Okay.
provide us their, uh, but again,
Feedback.
yeah, the feedback you can take. You cannot take directly the results.
Okay, madam. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, directly results. Then the student has to. They have to ask that should be through the student.
Okay, madam. Okay. Okay, madam.
Okay, then similarly, you have the PO assessment, that is at the end of the program. So for this, when the students are, one type of feedback you are having at the end of the course, that you are having after every semester, right? Then department performance report. Then you should have some student exit survey. Sometimes the student do not give the proper picture in the form of the feedback when during their stay in the institute. But when they're leaving just before their final exam, that is called the exit survey. So I think that is a good option to get the true picture of what the student think about. So alumni survey, student exit survey, some advisory committee, or there is some body of the students body, you can take the inputs from them. So there are, for PO assessment, you have direct tools and you have indirect tools. Direct tools are the same which are related to the COs, your assignments, your test, your exams, lab. So they are the direct tools which which will help us to check whether the POs have been attained or not. And indirect tools are these surveys, the faculty survey, alumni survey, or any type of questionnaire or whatever you call, they are the indirect tools. So PO attainment is a combination of the direct tools and the indirect tools. So for direct uh, assessment or direct attainment, the CO's attainment will be taken into account, whereas for
Excuse me, ma'am.
indirect, the surveys are to be taken into account.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
So in the attainment, ma'am, you are given a tick mark. In the previous slide, you are given a tick mark. Mostly we are giving the one, yes, ma'am, here. Against the PO, you are given tick mark. Normally used to give 1, 2, 3. Whether slightly mapping, strongly mapping.
So that is, it is not mapping. It is just the, okay, you can do it 3 to 1.
Okay.
It was just to show that they are related. You can do that. Mapping can be done in the beginning only.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. And then finally the CO assessment. So CO assessment, we all know that the tools are whatever you are using for your evaluation purpose. And for that, as sir was talking, we have to define the rubrics, which will give us the performance indicators on the basis of which you can assess the student, whether it is for a rubrics for a seminar, rubrics for lab, rubrics, because sometimes depending upon the subject, some subjects are the question paper for those subjects are directly, they are, you can assess them by just the giving the marks to the each and every question, performance based. But uh, some subjects or some evaluation tools like seminar, how will you judge that this student, out of 10 I will give this student 5 marks or 6 marks? Okay, your input, please. Suppose there is a seminar or a presentation and you have to judge a student out of 10 marks. How will you judge?
Madam, concept, concept of the topic 25.
Okay, one point is concept.
Concept, then originality, whether
Okay,
is of any plagiarism like that.
okay,
Then third is presentation, how we are presented.
right. So
20
it
people.
means, got it.
Please, 5 hours, 5 hours.
Yeah. So it means you frame something, some criterias which will indicate whether how much marks or how you are evaluating the student, whether it is on the novelty, whether it is the presentation skills, whether it may be confidence level, whether it may be how the student is able to answer the queries to the questions, originality. So they are what are these are actually the performance indicators which will be helpful in framing the rubrics to tell the teacher that okay, you give these many marks. And all this is done to remove the subjectivity. Otherwise, if I do not have those performance indicators or I do not design the rubrics, so it may happen that okay, this is doing this student, X student is his good presentation, give him 5. Oh, this is not doing, give him 4. This is not, it is 2. So human element comes to remove that subjectivity and make the things uniform. We should frame the rubrics with the proper performance indicators. This I'll talk. The sir will be talking about it. So what I want to focus upon is for the attainment of the COs, the various assessment tools should be employed, which should not be subjective. The reliability and validity of the assessment tools, whether they are question papers, whether they are assignments. Now see, if I take example of assignments, we give one single assignment to the entire class, 50 students, and we all know what happens. There is one or two master copies and everyone is copying it. Now they have started, okay, one assignment, so group of 5. Is anybody doing that? Different assignments or different quiz questions to different students?
Yes, ma'am. In
Yes,
our
madam.
college,
Yes,
we are
madam.
given, ma'am.
So how do you decide that which assignment should be given to which student? Which student group?
For
Yes,
toppers, we
ma'am.
will give some gate questions, madam. Gate questions like that we will give for.
Grade means tough
Yes,
level,
madam.
hardness level.
Top level questions.
Okay, okay.
For others,
Then
somewhat.
there may be 2 or 3 groups.
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Okay, for others?
We'll give somewhat easy problems, madam. From other textbook or exercise problems.
Then, okay, if you have 5 groups, you have 5 assignments.
Yes, ma'am. In our college, we have been given instruction from our management to give 5 set of questions for 5 category of students.
Okay. And then in that category, there may be many students. Na?
Yeah, certain category there might be if the difficulty level is more, it will be catering only some 3 to 4 students.
Yeah.
But if it is going to be less, some 10 students. So that again we have a hiccups in that also, because there might be disparity among students.
Yes,
That again arises.
that's what I'm saying. That when we design if we design these problems, okay, it is commendable that you are doing this much of work, that you are giving 5 different assignments to 5 different set of students. But then you have to check whether the assignment level, the hardness level, whether what means, the validity of that assignment should be uniform. It means whether that assignment you give to one student, or you give to second student, or you give to third student, his capability should be able to be judged by that assignment. Like, okay, I take the example of, say, JE exam. When we the students appear for the JE exam, there the questions are jumbled, and there is no set sequence of that which student will get a sequence A paper or a series B paper or series C. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So because the question paper, the hardness level of the question paper, everything in all the series is set in such a way that if any question paper goes to any student, his competencies can be judged at the same level. So that type of thing we are not doing in our institute level. It requires too much of efforts and all. So rubrics are helpful in those cases, or performance indicators are helpful in those cases, so that we are able to figure it out and see whether the student is performing, or what competencies he has developed, or what outcomes he has achieved.
Ma'am,
For
in
that,
we have to follow the percentile rather than percentage.
yeah, for
We
that is
will
again
do,
same. That is again the end. The motive is same, so that we are doing justice to the students, and we are checking out whether the attainment have been, the outcomes have been attained or not, and we are moving more towards the student centric approach rather than teacher centric, that okay, these many number of students, 20%, 40%, that is why we are going for the percentile, that in that class where the maximum competency of a student may be 90%, we are considering it as 100 and then mapping it, right? So these are the different ways, just to remove the subjectivity, to bring the uniformity, and to check whether the proper outcomes for which the student has entered in your course have been attained and not, and that is without any I would say uh, partiality or subjectivity and so on. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. For such attainment, we are planning. Yeah, we are integrated right now Bloom taxonomy in a specialized rubrics formats
Mhm.
for each and every set of the questions.
Okay.
We ask any question and it has several formats: assessment, analysis, and particular objective results. then what is the status of the students to attain this? If the students not getting the actual answer, but if it is following the process of the getting
Yes,
answer, then it will be evaluated. We
yes,
are
exactly.
following here in our institution at right now.
Very good, good, sir. Please let me. I would like to see your set of rubrics if you can share with me.
Definitely, ma'am. I'll share
Please
the
share
project
it.
assignment.
Okay. So, right. So now when we are doing the attainment part, as I mentioned, yeah. So rubrics are there and we define. I want to show you one example. Yeah, this is one just case study. It was not part of this one, but I just want to share it. So this is how we go for the attainment. So this is a Excel sheet which has been designed. You can design your own also whatsoever. Now see, if you see this, okay, first course outcome, CO1. This is same with what I have shared with you. This, the CO1 was PO1, question 1 and question 2 in T1. Same case study I am showing you here. So this is CO1. It is related to PO1 and it was to be assessed by T1 question 1, T1 question 1B, question 2, question 2B. Okay, so total marks is 40. Every student who has performed or who has answered the question, the marks are written, total percentage is calculated. Okay, this student 23 marks, total was 40, so how much percentage? So we define a threshold level. Okay, every you must be doing that, but again I'll explain it. Every attainment level has to be defined beforehand. That is, I will say that attainment of level 3 has been attained if the students are getting 80% of marks, more than 80%. Level 2, it means when the student is getting 70 to 80%. Level 1, if it is 60 to 70%. So the attainment level and how many percentage performance level and the attainment level has to be predefined, on the basis of which you can say that whether it has been attained or not. So like it is 77%, okay, 3, 78, 3. But if you will say 63%, attainment is 2, 55, attainment is 2. Similarly, if attainment is more, then you have 90. So you can come up with the average level and then you can say whether the target has been achieved or not. So this is one just example I am showing you. I can go into the detail later because I think we have to break it here for the next session also. This I just wanted to show you that at the end purpose is the attainment of the course outcomes. So now if you see from these figures, we have got that CO1, the average value is 2.78, 2.78, 2.56, 2.56. From here, like see, so CO1 is 2.56. So we are getting 2.56, okay, not CO1. It is CO2. CO1 is here. Okay, this is not covered. So CO, this is, yeah, here it is 2.78, 2.78, and then this must be CO4. So 2.78, 2.78, 2.56. So now you can calculate and we can see 70%, the 60% of students getting more than 70%. So I will say that my CO1 has been attained. 77% are 60% of students again getting more than 75. It is yes, but it is less than 75, so it is no. If it is less than 75, it is no. So this will define whether my COs have been attained or not, right? So this again, it is a lengthy process and there is no thumb rule, there is no predefined structure, but every institute I've seen are doing in a different way how to show the attainment. But whatever you do, the attainment and all, you have to justify for this criteria also, that how you are, what is the target of 60% students and 60% marks, and on what criteria you are saying that we will set this criteria less than this or more than this. So proper justification should be there and then the attainment has to be shown. Okay, so
Madam, kindly share the Excel sheet, madam, through
I'll share
email.
I'll share it, sir. I'll share it. But again, as I said, this is a general one which has, you can, like, this is just a reference point. You
Yeah,
can,
just for model, madam. Just for model.
yeah.